Technology and updates. Always a positive thing. Welcome to the CinDev Podcast with your hosts AJ and Adam. Today they sit down and discuss updates on 8 new agents for the smart home. So tune in now here on the CinDev Podcast.
Welcome to the CinDev Podcast. I am one of your hosts, AJ.
And this is Adam.
And today we are going to go over part 1 of the Agent Bundle and showing you guys all the cool stuff that the agents can do for you and how they can really enhance the customer experience for the Control4 system.
And really quick, what the Agent Bundle is, it's 17 different drivers that give you all kinds of smart home functionality that's built on top of a Control4 system.
Yeah, it's our vision or one of our visions of how to make the customer experience for the integration better. And so we use these agents as a way to enhance those features. A lot of the agents you can actually do the programming by hand in Composer. It's perfectly fine. What the agents offer is the ability for your programmers to get in and out quicker to the job sites. Thus, you get paid quicker and the customer has a better experience. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Exactly. So it helps the dealers out as well as it helps out the customers.
Mm-hmm. So with that, Adam and I are going to kind of bounce back and forth, kind of going over some of the agents in this one, and then in the next video we'll do the rest of the agents, I guess.
Perfect.
We'll start with the battery agent. That was one I made a long time ago. We've made lots of updates over the years, and the battery agent is a agent that is meant to monitor and handle all the alerts and events of battery-enabled devices on the in a Control4 system. So when you have it in your house, I'm showing you my house right now. So these are all the sensors in my home. So you can see it's got, I have some water sensors. I've got some motion detectors. I've got locks. It can do NICE. It can do card access. It does all the Control4 remotes. It's a pretty full-featured device. I mean, we just recently added in a few newer battery devices.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what those were called.
Couple locks. Z-Wave Common Sensor was the latest one that's added, but there was a couple of locks beforehand. So if you guys have any suggestions, you can always email us, and we'll be happy to add any additional drivers that need to be monitored for batteries. Our alternate solutions in Control4 for monitoring batteries. But the reason why we have the battery agent out there is we've just through trial and testing, we found that not a lot of them don't give you the actual battery levels. There's some tinkering that you have to get through in order to get all of the battery levels out.
Yeah, not all battery sensors are the same.
Yep.
Some use voltage, some use percentage, some use strings and letters. And so the battery agent collects all of that data together and really kind of just simplifies all of that. And just we took care of all that for you.
Yep, and it takes little or no work to set up.
Yep. Yeah, you pretty much just add it into the project. I even added in the ability for it will auto learn new devices. So if you add the battery agent in and then you add all your devices in later, the driver will sense all those new battery devices and just auto put them into the project. So super easy, really a really great driver. I mean, if you have battery devices in a home, you should definitely have the battery agent.
Definitely.
So we're going to move on. We're going to go into one of my favorites, which is actually the code agent. And Adam actually made it. So we're going to let you, what is the code agent?
So the code agent provides additional access and or secured access and control to a Control4 project. It provides with a UI where you enter in the code in order to unlock some kind of an action. And these actions usually come from the programming section of Control4. So let's say you want your kids not to have access to the TV during certain hours, or basically anything else in the project, right? If you want to cut them off from Wi-Fi, we use it with our unified driver as well.
Yep.
That gives you a little more network access control. But basically, the control is going to be behind a password. It's a 3 through 8 length password that AJ just entered. It integrates really quickly with our whole notification suite, as all of our agents do. And it it's just another little tool that's not really provided through Control4 that now you can have more functionality added to the
Yeah,
system.
I would say that a good example would be if you need to layer a password on top of a macro or an action in your home. So let's say you have an IoT action where you turn on a bunch of pumps or fountains in your home, and you don't just want anyone to be able to walk up and just click the button and turn on the water fountain. You want there to actually be a code behind it. The code agent is a perfect solution for that. It's really simple. It works on all the Control4 UIs. You can use it from your Android, from iPhones, from Control4 touchscreens. It's a pretty cool little code driver, code
Yeah.
agent.
And I guess what makes it stick out from some of the other similar solutions out there is it does have different kinds of modes. So if you want something to be unlocked for a specific period of time, you can do that. If you want every single time to basically lock and unlock, you have to enter in a password, you can do that. Or nice little feature is if you want to enter a code into the code agent that triggers some kind of an action within your Control4 system,
Mm-hmm.
we have what's called a code match that will trigger that action based on the code entered.
Okay. Yeah, and as you're explaining that, I'm actually in Composer
Yeah.
right now showing it. So hopefully on the screen right now you'll see that. So as you can see here, we're going to go into code entered, and then you'll be able to use the code match in here.
Awesome. Yeah, the next driver we're going to get into is the modes agent.
So the modes agent is a very old driver. Is one of the original agents that we wrote, and it's really was meant to facilitate better and faster macro programming across the whole smart home. So in this example here, we actually have a goodbye button. So if we go ahead and click it, you know, goodbye, it's going to trigger. And now that we've executed the goodbye action of the home. And so in my composer window that I have open, you can see that it says, okay, when the event has been activated. And so this driver allows you to, within seconds, to just be able to click, you select your thermostats. You then select which preset you want to trigger on the thermostat, and boom, it's now done. The last thing that it does, like most of our drivers, is it does have different colors. So you can see here, it's kind of this aqua color. So we can go to say like a magenta or a maroon. And now the driver is a different color. And select it. So this is the maroon color, or we could do yellow. So you can really like use color now in your Control4 systems to really dial in the concept. So if you have some modes that you could even use modes to set sound presets, for example, in a theater. We've done it that way where every modes agent didn't actually like control house level stuff. It just gave the dealer a really nice icon on the screen.
Awesome.
Oh.
Next agent we're going to talk about is the garage agent. It is also one of the older agents out there. It's been around for a while, and then it gives us a really nice button on the screen for the garage. It integrates with any garage door out there. It's pretty universal. And it simplifies the whole garage integration. Probably one of our most icon heavy drivers.
It is. There's
And
quite a few.
And there's been quite a few custom requests for this one. If you have like any kind of custom UI requests, you can always reach out to us, and we can add this into any of our agents. But a garage agent is definitely requested the most for specific garage doors that look a little bit closer to what the customer has on their property.
Yeah, and it definitely is. Yes, there is a Control4 icon that does do garage integration. This one kind of takes that to a whole new level by really incorporating those events and those actions. So it can, out of the box, it can send a customer an email. It can send a customer a push notification. You as the dealer don't have to create that push notification, create the template, add in the programming of when it happens, when it doesn't happen. All of that's handled in the driver. You just simply add it in, and you're good to go. Moving on, I think we should probably talk about the temperature agent would be next. So this is again one of the older ones. that we've done, or one of the more older agents, I guess. And this driver was really meant. I built it for because I was running into issues with how to incorporate notifications on temperature alerts. So a great example, and the number one example that I use this driver for, is for wine cellars. Here we're in the kitchen room, and we're going to go to comfort, and the wine room right now is 58 degrees in there. So let's turn up the temp and see what kind of alerts we get. So in a wine cellar, you have this concept of, you want the wine to be within a certain tight range, right, of temperature. You don't want it to be too cold, but you also don't want it to be too warm. And you want to create alerts for above and below.
Yeah, and I mean, you have a really cool use case for it at your house, right? You have a lizard that needs to be maintained at a certain temperature to just keep alive.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I did not realize that reptiles, their window, their I guess their operating window, or whatever you want to call it, is very tight, and they even have a cool side and a warm side. And
yeah.
so in my case, I actually used one Z2C, which has two sensors in it, two temperature inputs. So one is a local temperature, and then there's like a little probe. So I put the probe on the hot side of the tank, and I velcroed the temperature, or the Z2C, on the cool side, I guess.
Well, yeah, the temperature agent definitely saves lives in that case.
Mhm.
And the next one that we have is voice agent. And voice agent, you've heard it recently. It uses the Google Voice API, which gives you access, I want to say, to hundreds of different voices, because that list looks huge. But
It's big.
yeah,
It's big. It's definitely a large list, and I know it's growing. We just heard that Google, for the European market, just added a whole bunch of new voices to it, so they're going to sound a lot more humanistic.
And of course, it doesn't only integrate with our agents. It also integrates through the programming section of Control4. So if there's any other event that you need the voice alert to go through either touchscreens or speakers inside the house, this is a perfect driver to use for that.
This is a test alert from the voice agent driver, brought to you by CinDev.
And one of my favorite features of the voice agent is the ability to silence it.
Yes.
Because of course, I mean, there's some of us might need a little bit of time, just quiet, whether it's taking a nap or focusing on something. Agent allows, I think there's two different silences, one for 4 hours, one for 8 hours. You can just do it with a click of the icon. That's what the icon on the UI is for. That will basically prevent any kind of messages that go through the voice agent to get triggered.
Yeah, we heard the best example or use case with that we've heard is we had a customer who would enable or would basically mute or silence the voice alerts during parties. So he had a party button and the modes driver. So he was using the modes driver. He'd activate party mode, and party mode would basically just silence all of the voice alerts. So because he had voice alerts whenever like his back door opened, whenever his side gate opened, things like that. And so during the party, he didn't want the music stopping.
Yeah. Things you want to know when you're alone in the house, but not when others are there. Yep.
Exactly. So moving on, some of the newer drivers that we developed, we're going to talk about is going to be the game console driver. It's technically the game console agent, but because it's basically a plethora of icons for games, we decided to call it the game console icons. Adam and our other developer, Chris, they made all the icons. So I forget how many, but I know
it's
48. 48 icons.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much every single game system that we could possibly find, and some that are not necessarily games but have kind of that entertainment game vibe, like a racing simulator. As you can tell here on this screen, we've got the Atari, the PS5, the Xbox. We also decided, because the PS5 and the Xbox X are the two most common, there are also multiple variations of that icon. So if by chance you have a gaming room, you could have each icon be slightly different, thereby giving you some distinguishment in your GUI.
So, for example, let's say you have different kind of systems, and you want to have the feel of the room a little bit different, right? You can set it up so anytime the click event for the icon not only pops up the actual games that you're gonna be playing, because it has that video input
Hmm.
functionality, but you can also program all kinds of lighting events or whatever else you need to do to set the mood for the games you're about to be playing. So.
Yeah, something else that I didn't realize I would need until I became a dad was that I like the ability of the game console to disable the ability to use it.
Hmm.
So that's it's just one of those weird, unique things that the because the game console icon is a UI button,
Hmm.
it allows for extra, I guess, leverage you can do inside the Control4. When one of them is to disable or to change the way the icon works to better fit like custom programming.
And again, you can use that with the code agent if you want to put a password behind it.
Which is exactly what I did.
Perfect.
So, the final one that we're going to talk about today is the URL agent. It's similar to the game console, and I'll let you actually explain it because you
Sure.
were the one that made it.
Yeah, it's a very simple driver that gives you a URL point. It sends you to a certain website. In our case, we put our CinDev website. So there's two things that come with this driver. One, you can put or point to the icon
Hmm.
that you want to display on the UI. And then we point to the website that you want to display once you select the icon.
So yeah, I've seen. So the specific use case that we use it here at Syntegration is for the Kaleidoscape. So the Kaleidoscape system, as many dealers know, is this huge database of movies, and we needed a way to create kind of like a showroom experience dashboard for the sales guys. And so we use the URL agent to have an icon of the movie and then the name of the movie underneath. So the salesman goes up and he's like, "Oh, I want to watch Greatest Showman." He hits it and boom, the song that they play on that show pops up, and it's just a really clean, easy interface.
And I guess for Control4 dealers, something you can do is if you have new customers coming into Control4, set them up with some of those Control4 demonstration, like how to use the
The how-to
UI,
guides.
how-to guides. Yep, you
Yeah.
can just set really quick links on your navigator and have the customer have the ability to get to them
Yep.
really quickly.
So this was just kind of like a rundown of some of our top, I guess I would say top agents because they're all cool, but
Some of our agents.
some of the
Yeah.
agents that we really like. We'll have another video here shortly showing the rest of the video or rest of the agents. But yeah, we really encourage you guys to try them out and just see how they work.
And of course, if you have any questions or need a little more information on how to set up some of the scenarios we talked about, feel free to reach out to us at info@cindev.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we also we're starting to strum up a little bit more marketing and
Hmm.
sales support on our end. So if you guys have applications or use applications where you just don't know which set of agents you need to use properly, again, you can email us at info@CinDev, and somebody should reach out to you and maybe help you get that contract and really elevate that customer's experience.
Definitely. And part two is coming soon. We'll review the rest of our agents, and hopefully in the future, we'll even go dive into more details into each individual agent, show you guys how to set everything up and all kinds of other things.
Yeah, let us know if you guys want more in depth or maybe like a webinar style uh, kind of discussion with some of these agents. So some of the agents that we'll explain in the coming weeks are definitely more. They have a lot more going on with them, like the network agent and some of those.
Hmm.
So yeah, so comment and
Yep.
subscribe. And my name's AJ,
This is Adam.
and this is the CinDev Podcast, and we look forward to speaking with you guys soon.
Well, that wraps up part one of the CinDev updates for agents. Be on the lookout for part two. You've been listening to the CinDev Podcast with your host, AJ and Adam. You can find the podcast on major platforms, so go like and go subscribe. Until next time, stay smart.